As fire season ramps up, CAL FIRE says as of this week, its stations are now fully staffed.
But the union says there's still a staffing shortage. So how could both be true? CBS 13's Madisen Keavy is getting answers live from Auburn.
Yeah, that's something a union president clarified, that both really can be true. Take this CAL FIRE truck, for example. It takes a minimum of 3 firefighters to run this. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And a union president says there's enough staffing right now to make this happen, but it's keeping this up and running and providing relief for crews on trucks like this becomes a little more difficult.
How is it possible to be at peak staffing, which means an engine like this will have the minimum 3 firefighters needed to operate? But at the same time, CAL FIRE union leaders and lawmakers say CAL FIRE is chronically understaffed.
Even if you got to 3.0 staffing on an engine, that means there's no relief.
That's a CAL FIRE union president who explained peak staffing is a term used to describe what's allotted in the budget, not what stations and crews really need.
When the department tells you they're staffed to peak, they're not telling you a story. They absolutely are at what has been status quo, which is understaffed.
Is there a CAL FIRE staffing shortage right now in the midst of this peak season?
I guess I would need some further information to be able to adequately answer that.
A CAL FIRE spokesperson said units are working together to make sure needs are met. CAL FIRE officials first disputed that firefighters have left in large numbers, and instead, staffing levels are fairly consistent. But a Cal Matters investigation revealed about 10% of its workforce quit last year.
The amount of engine companies we have during peak staffing hasn't changed much locally in my career in this unit. We were at 21 engines when I started. Now we have a 22nd engine.
No changes to staffing levels is what the union said has led firefighters to being overworked. There's no relief for the engine staff of 3, just overtime.
No, we can no longer be in the back in the 19th century of staffing levels. You know, now in the 21st century, you know, we have to progress. The department has to move forward.
You talk about peak season, you might have heard that recording here. This is a very active day. We've heard that radio go on all day long here. Now, there is some legislation that's on the table right now to hire more than 1,000 CAL FIRE firefighters immediately, and that was approved in a 10-0 vote yesterday in one assembly committee and now goes on to another assembly committee. So we should have an update there by Friday.